Hello and welcome to another TAP Project podcast. My name is Hannah Knight and this is Hugh Knight, and we are the two co-founders of the TAP Project. Hugh, how are you doing?
Oh, I'm doing good. It seems like it's been a little while, but things are good. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Busy. We have been a while. It has been a couple weeks since our last podcast. Actually, since our beginning of our conceptual alpha becoming live and our SLC, moving to the SLC when we launched at the end of July. That was kind of where we got really swamped and had to put our heads down and push through development. And I know the dev team and stuff on your side has been working super hard, but it's been great on our end. But no, it's been one of those things, right? Just kind of as things progress, the team has to shift in different angles, and one of the reasons why we kind of slowed down on the podcast was to shift and put all hands on deck for the development and pushing out that.
Yeah. It's been a lot of work, a lot going on. Everybody's been doing great. It's been heads down. There's been so many changes. We're getting in bug requests, which are always fantastic. The more we get in and the more we fix, and the better the platform gets. Those in the community, those using it, just keep sending it our way. We'll keep looking at it. We'll keep fixing it. We'll keep making it better. It actually, I guess, it segue into our, what's going on, what's happening for the platform stuff, eh?
It definitely doesn't. But before we get to that, I thank you guys for tuning in again, obviously, to another project and another podcast. And again, we want to emphasize that this is not any sort of legal advice or financial advice or investing advice or anything like that. This is two co-founders talking about the TAP project and blockchain as we know it. And again, guys, I thank you guys. And for those of you who are just popping into a new podcast for us, because we've had a little bit of a new audience, the TAP project is a blockchain visionary, revolutionary project that allows gamers to convert and transfer their in-game tokens of virtual currencies through and cross platforms, building a universal wallet and connecting games together. And I thank you guys for that. But yeah, Hugh, as you said, this kind of pulls into kind of our segue for our show today and our podcast. We'll try and keep this one lighter than our other ones. And if you haven't already, please check down our other podcasts. I believe it's 1 through 8 on our YouTube channel. There's numerous links down below. You guys can do that. And if you haven't already, please like and subscribe and follow us on Telegram, t.me/tapcoin, and visit us as our website and visit our brand new platform, tapplatform.io. It is live, connected to the blockchain, fully operational, and stunt runner for those who are currently playing. But we'll get into all of that in this show. As you know, there is a lot. So let's kind of go through a little bit of a recap into kind of the last, since our launch, and kind of the last couple months, and what we've been doing so far. And it's been pretty good. It's been a busy time for the development side and busy time for us in terms of the marketing side and kind of what we're pushing. Let's get into a little bit of the marketing side and kind of how the TAP project has been shaping and kind of directing and honing its vision. Obviously, at the beginning, for those who are long-time users, or we call legendary users of the TAP platform and followers of us, you kind of probably have seen us shifting alongside different aspects and kind of honing down into one thing that we're kind of doing right now. And that's obviously we're trying to build a universal wallet and universality of gaming and connectivity together. And we're really focusing on, it's been, I know Hugh mentioned in the Telegram group, kind of our longevity of the project. We've been over a year now since we've actually come live on the blockchain in terms of our token, but we've been doing this for the last couple years at least in terms of visionary and how this is going to be going, seeing it through obviously in 2017. But for those who have kind of been with us for a while, you've probably been able to see kind of how we've been shaping the vision of the TAP project and kind of its goals and its values. And what we're really trying to do is hone into one skill, and we're really trying to perfect that one skill, and that is the connectivity of games together via their in-game currencies and virtual currencies. And that's something that really interested us from the get-go, obviously, and it's something that still continues to interest us. And we've kind of seen other projects kind of jump into the space and delve into kind of gaming and blockchain, but they've really, I don't want to name any names and I won't, but some have actually struggled to get a vision. They've raised millions and millions of dollars, but they've struggled to connect that vision. And we've seen teams implode from the inside out. Some going to Reddit, some going to different forums to speak about things going on behind the scenes. But we've seen that implode. And for us, I really want to say that we have really focused in on our goal, and I'm super comfortable and confident in kind of our direction and where we are going, especially on an executive level and kind of in terms of the project and what we are trying to accomplish. Wouldn't you say as you as well?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think it's just the transition. I think from the beginning, our stance has always been to iterate and just get that much better every day. Even if it's like 0.1% or 1% every day, even though some argue 1% is quite a lot. Just to get better every day, and our iteration from when we, conceptual idea to actually getting it out there, and then developing, and then to where it's at and where it's going to be. Like, we still have some iterations that haven't been released just because where the resource is so small that we're all crunching and pounding the keyboard, but we just can't get it out fast enough. From a vision perspective too, I completely agree. Like, our vision has just become even more laser focused to the point where, when we're talking to publishers and so forth, we've narrowed down exactly what vision, what goal we want to display to them, and the direction we want to go, and where we want to take the project, and incorporating the platform into with their games, and just fine tuning that. Like you said, it's been amusing sitting back and kind of watching some Reddit posts, and watching projects and their people kind of implode and explode online. You just kind of shake your head, and you just kind of wonder, oh my, what now, right? Like, you got these projects that were selling you, moon dust, and they barely can stay afloat right now, right? So I think we're super lucky in that aspect that, we got an awesome community, which allows us to do some awesome work and put out an awesome product. I don't want to give away our secret, our secret formula. And it might not be a secret formula, but I think the big thing for us is, figuring out what type of game we're playing, right? And, is it a short game? Is it the 100-meter sprint? Or are we doing, the Ironman competition? I think we figured that out from day one, and that allows us to sort of keep our direction and know how we're going to play things and how we're going to move and move the pieces. So.
Yeah, and I think that's very important, right? The longevity, the Ironman race, in terms of not sprinting out back in 2017, summer of 2017, getting on all these things, and using all this resource and all this money to kind of do things that right now seem foolish. We're kind of making that race, and obviously, as we always said and always spoke first about development first, building our platform first, building development of our idea, and then pushing forward and outside of that. And now we're actually, as you said, we're being able to, when it comes to speaking to developers and publishers, really honing down on what they need, what we need, and how we can accomplish that together, and how we can benefit them, right? And I think that's a huge course in this. And to me, honestly, it's just the sky's the limit, and it's really time. Time is going to be our friend here, and kind of how we go through and continue to develop and continue to talk to people, that's only going to help the project, especially kind of in our pace right now. As you always mentioned, we're not doing the 100-meter sprint, and I'm super comfortable walking right now. So especially kind of how the whole shape of the the crypto world right now. That was, that's hilarious. I really laugh. If you guys haven't, obviously jump onto our community or Telegram channel. A great GIF that came out today. It was
Oh, that
hilarious,
was
right?
I almost fell off my chair. That was awesome.
Yeah, that was awesome. Just awesome. Just, but that's just kind of it right now, right? It really comes back. Like this is going back to like, especially for Ether. This is going back to like February. February March of 2017. Kind of getting back to what it's meant to do and what kind of blockchain's meant to do, right? And
Yeah.
I don't know. Just I'm actually looking at it as we talk right now. It's too funny, but I don't know kind of where things are going to go from here. But all I know is, unfortunately, I don't even need to care, lack of a better word, about the prices and kind of how things are going, because I'm so in such strong belief for the project and the development of the project, that it's kind of just like, those things can all go aside, and really, I have such faith in this project and how it's going to grow and how it can actually be used and expand and actually change the gaming industry on a whole. And that's kind of what I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, yeah, no, 100%. It's one of those things where it's like for us, it was about the technology, and we saw the potential in the technology, and just linking the two worlds with those pieces of technology. If you follow the tech, at the end of the day, you can't go wrong, right? If you follow not if you don't follow the technology, then you're setting yourself up for a bit of a beating. So at the end of the day, for us, other projects are scrambling, other projects are kind of falling apart, and because we focus so much about the product, the platform, the technology behind it, the development of it, the connecting with the game space, like. Like I was saying, we're almost in like a dome. It's like we're looking outside, and there's like cows flying around in this tornado and buildings.
Twister.
I see a shark in there, right? But it's one of those things where it's just like, oh well, let's keep doing what we're doing. We're not changing anything. We haven't done anything different other than improve it, improve the way we're pitching our sales pitch to publishers. Improving how we iterate on the platform. Getting new features in, trying to manage it from the project side, how we were able to pump out as much code as possible within our time period with the amount of resources that we have. Like that's pretty much the stuff we're discussing, right? Like we're not really discussing like what is it a red day or is it a green day? Is it a red day? Is it a down day? That hasn't been our thing, and it hasn't come up in any of our meetings, right? It's just sort of okay, well, let's maybe tweak that UI a bit because people are struggling at that point, or do we really need that step? These are the discussions that we're having internally. So
Yeah, and that's good to know, and it kind of we'll use that as another segue into kind of our platform and kind of promoting our platform and talking about that. And so obviously, as for those who are just joining us and who haven't already, please go out and check out www.tapplatform.io for our brand new SLC platform, which is out there, as I mentioned earlier on in the podcast. It is live, connected to the blockchain. Everything that you see there is live and working. I had one of the conversations with people, with somebody at one of the events, and I was showing them live, kind of on the blockchain as it was going, and they were like, "This is out already? This is working? Like this is not testing it. This is fully functional." I was like, "Yep, fully functional out there right now. These are active users playing Stunt Runner." Converting, transferring, holding tap coins, and to see it, it was I saw one guy put his hands up in the air, scratch his head, and he was like, "Wow!" Right? And that's kind of the aha moment, and those are the stuff that I like to see, especially when talking to people about the project, saying, this is it. We are already out there. We are pushing it. We are making stakes. Someone else came to me and they were like, "Well, I heard." That someone else was about to do this project, or someone else was going to do this project, and they had all X, Y, and Z big name. They actually pulled out that they had like Sony out, and I was like, let me listen for a bit here. And like, oh, this project has X, Y, Z out there, and I was like, okay, are they currently out right now? Oh no, they're they're not. They're working on it. Oh, do they have any sort of tokens out? No, nothing live. Okay, well, let's pull that back a little bit.
So
Unfortunately,
what you're saying is they have nothing.
yeah, they don't have anything, and that's the kind of thing I was saying. Well, unfortunately, some people have flaunted that they've had big publishers, big names, big execs under their wings, and unfortunately, that wasn't always the case. So be weary. But what I'm telling you right now is we are live. We are out there. We are on the blockchain, on Ethereum blockchain, and we are currently working. And we are the first to market. We are the first to be doing this and converting virtual in-game currencies. I'll let that soak in. We are live and out there, and you are actually able to convert your game scores to tap coins. That's
So
it.
that's it.
That's it.
All right, wrap it up. Okay,
Wrap it
it's
up. Let's
over.
go. Right. That's it. Like it's such a crazy thing when you're speaking to people now about this, right? Like it's I accept all the competitors, and competition is great for the space. It creates innovation. It pushes people to change and develop new ideas. But I'm telling you, we're out there, we're doing it, and fully functional right now at this moment.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely like it's absolutely amazing. There's, I know we haven't really touched on the updates yet, but considering from our last podcast to this one, the last podcast is we're we're up, we're good, and this one is we're still up, we're still great, we're still functional. I mean, we're talking about drips are happening every month. We're talking about conversions are happening.
Which, by the way,
From
let me look that into a plug. If you do hold over 250k tap coins, you get a drip. The last drip was given on the month. The second drip, and you go down to our channel, obviously, and you'll be able to see happy people receiving drip. So that's good. But continue.
Yeah, yeah, like the things that we outlined, they're all functioning on the blockchain, happening, conversions happening. You know, we've got from game to platform, platform to blockchain, back to platform, back into game. Like, premium earned. I know I sound like a used car salesman, but it's like all of this stuff that we talked about is all happening right now. Our user interface, and I kind of the segue, like our user interface is getting better and better. And I think, there are a lot of, I read an interesting article that it was talking about dApps and sort of the development of dApps and the way it's going. And it was saying one of the things that projects are struggling with is the UI, right? Because, you have this great concept, and when you go on there, you can't figure out head from tails and who's who in the zoo and what's going on. But I think every day, our UI, it's great, it's fantastic, and it just gets even better. And I look at it, and I see little tweaks that our team is making, and I'm like, holy smokes, this is just like, it's just mind blowing how it's just morphing, and it's kind of cool to see it, right? We're and I'll kind of lead into some of the stuff that we're doing on like the development side. We're getting some features up to date. We're working on some new stuff that'll be rolled out. We're working on do we talk about the website?
Yeah, let's put that out there.
Yeah, we've even, as I said, it's all about iteration. So we've taken we've revamped our website, so the tapproject.net, and we've changed the player side, we've changed the publisher side, we've changed the documentation, the FAQ, basically to fit this mold where we want to make it simple for gamers to get in, to understand the concept, to understand the direction. We also want to make it easier for publishers to figure out how it fits into their games. How can their games be discovered, right? So we've got different initiatives, and we've sort of outlined three main focal points that we want to drive, and that is how we're tailoring most of our workflow, our user flow, to kind of gauge everybody to sort of lead down that path, right? And I'm not going to spoil the website because it's some fantastic work by our team. But when we do release it, you'll get to see, you'll see the flow. And you know what? For those out there that are a bit more business minded, they'll sort of see the direction that we're taking and the direction that we want to go with the project. And you'll kind of nod your head and say, okay, that makes sense, right? it's still about the games. It's still about the blockchain. It's still about the gamers at the end of the day, and it's being able to convert game currency into, tap coins. We've got oh man, there's so many things working on.
Well, so one of the things I actually want to do right now, and I'll take the time to do that, is actually give a big shout out to the crypto users, the gamers, the crypto enthusiasts that are currently in our groups and currently supporting the project. Because without you guys giving us feedback, letting us know how it works, letting us know kind of what you guys think of it, we have been able to kind of change things or tailor things or make it simple, as you mentioned about the website. And we really, that information or that feedback is super important, is vital to us kind of going forward. Because as we make this move right now, and the move that we're currently making is away from heavy crypto users. And not to mean that we're not supporting them or not kind of going to their needs, but what I mean by that is actually we have a curve that we're kind of following daily or monthly or whatever it might be, and kind of watching. And the lower end of the start of that curve is with crypto users, those who understand blockchain, those who get it, those who are easy to explain to. If we can't actually tailor it to you guys, and if you guys are having difficulty understanding, being heavy blockchain users or moderate users, then it's going to be super difficult when we integrate into the mainstream of the gaming world. So right now we're actually kind of climbing that hill and integrating it now with gamers who have very little blockchain experience, very little blockchain knowledge. So everything that we kind of do going forward, we want to make sure that as we kind of go into the mainstream, getting more publishers, getting bigger games, getting every other person and their family playing or jumping on. We want to make sure that it's simple to understand, because when people still to this day, even though blockchain's been around for years now, as soon as people hear blockchain, they all blockchain. Oh, now what, right? So we want to make sure we want to make sure that whatever we're doing now at this point, we want to make it simple, we want to make it effective, and we want to ensure that we deliver the right message.
Yeah, 100%. It's we sort of always look back and gauge, okay, where are we in this bell curve, right? You've got like it's the early adopters bell curve. You got the innovators, then you got the early adopters, and then you got the early majority. And so the innovators and the early adopters are those that live and breathe the crypto space. Those that when they sign on, they select they're super experienced or have quite a bit of experience with crypto or blockchain. But what we want to do is sort of set ourselves up, right? We always want to try and be a couple steps ahead. We don't want to be behind that curve. We want to be ahead as much as possible and look towards the early majority, right? And the early majority are those that are a mixture. They've heard about it. They sort of know what's going on, but they just don't quite know how it all fits in. How do they get into the space? How do they incorporate into the games? And what we're finding is a lot of the publishers, developers, indie developers, AAA developers, actually the ones that make the decision on if we partner with the platform or not, actually live in the early majority space, right? The ones that go out and do the research, the analysts and the designers and developers, they're all new age tech, so they understand. They live in the early adopters and innovative space. But at the end of the day, when they go back and say, "Hey, this is what we're thinking. Let's take our game and incorporate it with this great project that has a wonderful community, and that ties into other games. It's like universally connected, allowing currency to be converted into the blockchain crypto space." Those guys that say okay or I'm not too sure are living in the early majority. Unless we can kind of tailor and point them in the right direction, it's going to be harder to get those yes. So if we do that now, and as we keep knocking on the door and the blockchain space continues to grow and expand, and the stigma and sort of the bad press about cryptocurrency and blockchain sort of gets removed, then they'll understand. They'll see, okay, hey, yeah, I understand. It's you're speaking my language, and that decision to say, yeah, let's go for it. Let's give it a go. Let's see what happens. Just makes it that much easier. So that kind of wraps up. That's just a long way of saying, we're we're not we're I think as a small startup, if you want to call it a small startup, you've got to be able to pivot. And a pivot isn't you're leaving or you've left. A pivot is just an adjustment, right? Like if anybody play ball, know that you got to keep one foot planted when you're pivoting, and then you kind of move around to shake the guy off you. So we're pivoting.
Break his ankles.
Ankle breakers. Oh man, NBA Jam. Oh, Ballers, you remember that game?
He's on fire. Oh, NBA Ballers bounce it off their head and then
man.
break the net.
The game is over. I loved it. Just
totally
ended in 15 seconds.
Yeah, you can totally be out as long as you break the ankles, break the net. I mean, break the ankles, bounce it off their head a couple times, send it outside, launch it up in the air, boom! Break the net. Game's over.
Just drop even the controller.
Yeah, even if you're losing by like 30 points, it's over.
Oh man, but it's interesting because we're such big gamers. We always go off in a tangent because at the end of the day, we want this thing to succeed as much as anybody else because we want to play it, we want to be involved in it, we want to use it, right? So I think that gives us a unique perspective. So that's why our rants about games and NBA Ballers is that's what we do. That's what we talk about. When we're not talking about the project or anything, we're talking about gaming. What's going on? What do you want to play? And I think just that shift alone, and the community will see the shift, and it'll be a great shift to sort of that road to that higher curve. Is just changing that, and even the user interface. There are some features that because it's still being improved, the platform still needs some features added, which we're working on. We've got some user features, some settings features, some features in the publisher space that we're working on right now. Some just kind of house cleaning stuff for the system.
And it looks good, like all that stuff that we're planning looks like amazing. Like I can't wait to get that out there. But as you said, it's features that we're pumping on there or jumping on, but like they look spot on, especially some of the design stuff that we've seen in the back.
Yeah, just absolutely amazing. Like when we, it's gotten so good that we're telling the team like, hold on, we got to catch up a bit. Like we got to, stop improving it. Basically where we're at, because we got to get to that point where we've got everything for everybody to do, and then we can keep iterating bits and pieces, but we just keep finding ways to improve it. And it's just a cat and mouse game trying to get what we see on the drawing board out into the hands of the users. And those that were the first on there have seen the changes, have seen buttons move, has seen colors change, has seen features that were there removed because they weren't useful, or onboarding because it was a struggle. We've taken out parts, made it easier, adjusted spaces. Like this is where we're at. And I think when you're at that space where you're adding important features that improve the product for the users daily and for the publisher for our market daily, that is the space that we want to be in. So, we could come out and say, hey, we're going to start doing this, doing that. But if it doesn't bring any value and it doesn't improve on our core, then we're not gonna bring it out, right? So we're working on tournaments. It's easy to push out, hey, we're just going to do tournaments and then bam, bam. But we're doing tests first because we want to find the right fit, right? The right fit into the platform, the right fit into the gamers, the right user interface for it, the interaction for it. Like these are the things that we're working on, and that's coming up yeah, I don't even know what to say. Just so many things.
There is a lot, and obviously we'll be spreading it out through various other podcasts in the future, because obviously the last couple months have been super crazy for us. So we won't. It's not expected to obviously get through all of that, but you're right. Like there's a lot that that we're kind of going into this, and we've built a strong core in kind of what we've released as the SLC, and a very strong skeleton and a bone structure there, and now we're adding onto the flesh, or adding the meat and potatoes onto the back end of it, to be able to fulfill kind of the goals and visionaries things that we've said. And as another little point as well, we did push out that the Stunt Runner tournament few weeks ago, and obviously it was pretty good in terms of our end, and that was really for a test, and we really wanted to mitigate to see kind of what we can do, what will be better for us, what will be beneficial for us, whether it's to use an in-house system or an external system to get our tournaments through. And using Smash.gg was a good example of how an external system would be able to use, and actually kind of runs us into the possibilities of doing tournaments or surrounding tournaments with games that aren't currently on the platform, which is another big thing. And that gets into another thing that I won't mention, but that is right on our list of other games that are on our platform. But I'll just leave it at that. And before we kind of wrap up in terms of our podcast today, again, we want to thank everyone for jumping in. This is obviously just going to be a light one, just to get back into the swing of things. But I do want to kind of step onto a little bit of, for any sort of developers or publishers that are out there and thinking about the TAP project, thinking about this idea of connectivity, or connecting games together via their virtual currencies. I just want to give out something for you guys as well. And obviously, as I mentioned, we are built off Ethereum that allows gamers to options of opportunity when it comes to their virtual in-game currencies. And for us, we believe that there's more than just one way to play. We offer discoverability, cross-platform, and revenue as well for the developers, and user engagement, increasing retention, and increasing end-game play. And that's really big for a lot of developers, is that end game play. When a user comes down to those last final hours, last final minutes of the game, what are they going to be doing? Are they going to be switching? Are they going to continue to play? We have a whole host of market that houses over thousands of users that are wanting to play and continue to play your games on the TAP platform. A lot of questions that come up are, can I go to another platform, or can I go to another system or marketing listing or anything like that? And yes, you are free to go to Google Play, Steam, anything like that, and using the TAP platform as an additional source for yourself and connectivity of games. And obviously the TAP plugin is huge for us, and that is the main feature, and that is what we do promise to say, that is increasing retention, building live ops, and increasing player engagement. And one of the things that helps, obviously the idea, and we were out there first, obviously before the movie came out, is Ready Player One, and that's a lot of examples that people are like, oh, like Ready Player One, and unfortunately, yeah. But as I said, we were out there first before the movie came out, so we did not just do this because of the movie, but that's just it, right? Building that universality where the real goal of one currency crossing different platforms, users being able to pull out from one currency, get into TAP coins, and jump into another game if they so choose. And we are currently looking for any sort of developers, publishers, indie games, using the Unreal Engine or Unity, and pushing them onto the platform currently right now. So that's just a plug for any of those publishers or developers out there thinking about it. Please get in contact with us, and I'll get in contact with you as well, as we are on the active hunt for developers and looking for them to join this giant and amazing journey.
Yeah, no, it's for sure. And to think that Full Indie Summit's coming up again.
Oh yes, about that.
Yeah. So I won't take the thunder. Take it away.
No, that's coming up. What's now? 10 days, 9 days. In 9 days, we'll be at Full Indie Summit. So anyone down in the YVR sector, Vancouver, BC, Full Indie Summit, you can check them out. but that's going to be a summit where there's going to be a lot of whole host of gamers, developers, publishers, amazing speakers. We will be setting up a booth. We're getting ready. We're getting ready for
Oh
the
yeah,
Full
yeah,
Indie
yeah.
Summit, and we sponsored it last year, and we are again sponsoring it again this year. Being us from Vancouver, getting into that Vancouver gaming scene. But yeah, we're coming out, we're hitting it hard. We'll having a small little booth showing Stunt Runner gameplay, showing the platform, and wanting to speak to gamers, developers, or anybody even interested in blockchain or have any sort of questions. Feel free to jump and come talk to us. We'll be wearing repping our tap swag, and I remember we did this last time on one of the other podcasts, but we have swag, more swag. We have some really, really cool and sick gaming swag that one of our designers
Oh,
helped
even our
push
swag
out.
has iterated. It's getting
Yeah,
better.
it's getting better, right? And I actually, not gonna lie, I ordered some for myself. Ordered
Hey,
some
whoa,
for
where's mine?
yeah, you got one too. You got one
Oh
too.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
But got one for myself in addition to the giveaways because I was like, this is see, and that's just the thing, right? Like we are gamers first. So when I saw this, I was like, okay, gotta get it. This is a sweet gaming shirt. So we have swag. It's coming in a nice little bag, a swag bag
Oh,
filled
last
with,
year we didn't have a bag.
I
This year we got a
know, we
bag.
got a bag filled with tap goodies. And that's for people, coming out playing Stunt Runner. And I'm still thinking how we're going to do this, but one of the ways that, running a small little tournament, running it on, you'll have opportunities to play and we'll lodge your scores. And those winners after, 2 30-minute sessions, will be receiving those swag. At this moment, that's how we're going to run it. So I think that's a pretty cool way to attract gamers and playing Stunt Runner and getting that game out there. But yeah, I'm super excited about that. And the Full Indie Summit, as I said, if you guys are there, it's going to be great. We're going to have a lot of great speakers, coming out, and some big names as well. Visit the Full Indie Summit website for more information. But see us there when you do.
Yeah, no, that'll be fantastic. We get the gamers, we get the publishers all in the same room, and we have the platform to show them. I want to see people's minds like just blown, just like melting in their heads and on the floor and stuff. So,
on the floor. That maybe not on the floor.
okay, that's a little too much.
I think it's carpet. That's why.
Yeah.
It's not hardwood.
I just want to see I just want to what, honestly, just the looks on their faces is just like priceless. Like when they you tell them concept, and when they see it, and you see it form in their mind, and you see the pieces connected in their head, it's just like
Yeah, no, that's for sure, right? That's exactly what we live for, talking to people and telling them about the project and kind of the vision and kind of what we want to do. So with that, I thank you guys for tuning into another Tap Project podcast. We appreciate it, from the entire team and the community as well, and those who are obviously watching. Thank you guys for supporting us and continuing to support us day in and day out. And Hugh,
tap into a world that is more than just gaming.
let's go.